What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Exosister Bystial deck profile. So I'm really excited to see you guys because this deck is actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Manny. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck with just how well the Exosisters work with the Bystial monsters, which is just super cool. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron. And definitely give Manny some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Exosister Martha. Martha is the best Exosister in the entire deck because of her effect that if you control no monsters, or if you only control XZ monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, special summon out one Exosister Elise from your deck. And you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Exosister monsters, which is one of the few cards in the entire deck that's going to lock you out of your Bystial monsters. But if a card moves from either player's graveyard except during the damage step, you can special summon from your extra deck one Exosister XZ monster using this face-up card you control as a material, and this is treated as an XZ summon, which is an extremely powerful effect to be able to use with Exosister Martha. We then play 3 copies of Exosister Elise. Elise is a definite 3-of in the deck that if you control an Exosister monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then if you control an Exosister Stella, then you gain 800 life points, which is just a really awesome effect. Now the rest of your Exosister monsters actually share a common effect that if your opponent moves a card out of either graveyard except during the damage step, you can special summon from your extra deck one Exosister XZ monster using this face-up card you control as a material, and this is treated as an XZ summon, but you can only use each effect of each Exosister monster once per turn. We then play 3 copies of Exosister Stella. Stella is also a definite 3-of in this deck because she has the ability that during your main phase, you can special summon one Exosister monster from your hand, and then if you control an Exosister Elise, you gain 800 life points, which is just a really good effect to be able to use with this card. We then play 2 copies of Sophia. Sophia is just a good 2-of in this build. I don't feel like you need any more than 2 of this card. Then if you control another Exosister monster, you can draw a card, and if you control Exosister Irene, you get to gain 800 life points. We then play a single copy of Irene. Irene's a good 1-of in the deck, but you only need a single copy of Irene. But you can place an Exosister card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, and then draw a card, which is a great effect. And if you control Exosister Sophia, you gain 800 life points. We then play 3 copies of Zora, the Magistus of Flame. This card is such a good 3-of in this deck because it is a tuner monster, and it can help you go into a bunch of really powerful cards in this deck. This card has the ability you can target one Magistus monster that you control, which can be itself, and equip it with one Magistus monster from your extract. And if this card becomes equipped with a Magistus monster card, then you can special summon one level 4 spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, except another copy of this card, but its effects are negated, which is totally fine because it's going to help us synchro summon into an extremely powerful monster. This card is a definite 3-of the deck and just helps you go in for some really awesome boss monsters. We then play 3 copies of the Bystial Lubellion. Bystial Lubellion is a really cool 3-of in this particular deck, and has the ability cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned from your hand or grave by attributing one level 6 or higher dark dragon monster that you control, which is always going to be one of your Bystial dragons. It also has the ability you can only special summon this card once per turn this way, but this card is also a searcher that you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add a Bystial monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. And during your main phase, you can place a branded continuous spell or trap from your deck face up on the field, which is a great effect to be able to use with cards like Branded Regain, or even your copies of your Branded Beast, which is super good in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Bystial Magnamut. Magnamut is a really cool 3-of deck, and all of your level 6 Bystial monsters actually share a common effect, that you can target a light or dark monster in either graveyard and banish it, and if you do, special summon this card in your hand, and it's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster, which is such a cool effect to be able to just instantly get 2500 attack point dragons on your side of the field that are conveniently level 6 in this deck. This card also has the ability, if this card is special summon, you can activate this effect that during the end phase of this turn, you get to add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is just an absolutely crazy effect, except another copy of Magnemite. We then play 3 copies of Sawnir. Sawnir is such a good 3-of in this particular build, because it has a super unique effect that this is a quick effect basically to special summon it, just like your copy of Magnema, but this card has an absolutely crazy ability. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to send a Bystial monster or a branded spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card, which is just a really good effect to be able to send your copies of Branded Beast or your copy of Branded Regain from your deck to the graveyard, or even Lubellion to the graveyard, just to set up your plays. We then play just a single copy of Druid's Worm. You only need a single copy of Druid's Worm in this build, and Druid's Worm has a great effect that if this card is sent from the field to the grave, then you can target a special summon monster that your opponent controls and send it to the grave, which is just such a cool effect to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Baldrake. I feel like 1 Baldrake, 1 Druid's Worm is fine in this deck, because you don't want to play so many Bystials that you're going to break in this build, but this card is really good that if your opponent special summons a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro XZ, and or Link monsters, except during the damage step, you contribute 1 other light or dark monster, and then target one of those special summon monsters and banish it, which is a crazy awesome effect. I've almost considered dropping 1 copy of Lubellion for another copy of Baldrake in this particular build, and then it is an option for you guys if you want to change it out, but it is a really, really insane card. Also, the really neat thing about this deck is since your copies of your Bystials are level 6 in this particular build, you can actually summon out Baron de Fleur in this build, which is just super cool because your copy of your Magistus monster is a tuner that is a level 4, and all of these are level 6, which will get you into a copy of Baron de Fleur, which is super cool. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Harpy's Feather Duster is really good as a 1-of in this deck because it's just going to help you deal with your opponent's back row. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is also a really good 1-of in the deck to be able to banish cards from the graveyard and just deal with your opponent if they try and hand trap you. And it's also a really good combo piece to go with your copy of Martha, because if you banish a card from the graveyard, you can turn her into an XZ monster, which actually Called by the Grave will let you do. We then play a single copy of Branded Regain. Branded Regain is a really good 1-of to combo with your copies of your Bystial monsters, and it's just a really good card in this particular build. If a light or dark monster is banished except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters and place that monster on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw a card. And you only effect this card once per turn, and once per turn, if your opponent normally special summons a monster, then you can target 1 Bystial monster in your graveyard and special summon it, and you can only activate the effect of Branded Regain once per chain, which is a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Exosister packs. Exosister packs is basically like the Rhoda for Exosister, which is just really cool because during the main phase you pay 800 life points, add an Exosister monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. Then, if you add an Exosister monster by this effect, you can special summon it if the other Exosister monster mentioned on it is on your field or in the grave, which is just a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good in this particular build just to dig into the deck to get the exact card that you need. This card is super good as a 3-of in this build, and I absolutely love this card in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Branded Beast. Branded Beast is an extremely powerful 1-of in this deck, and just a really cool card overall that once per turn, during the main phase, if you control a Bystial monster, you can treat a dragon monster and then target 1 card that your opponent controls and destroy it, which is great to be able to pop cards on the field. And then during the end phase, you can target 1 Branded Continuous Spell or Trap in your graveyard and place it face up on the field, which is a crazy good effect, especially to combo cards like Sawnir that can send Branded Regained from deck to graveyard, and then this card can get it back, which is really good. We then play 2 copies of Vadis. Vadis is great as a 2-of in the deck, but you only need 2 copies of Vadis in this build. It lets you pay it in life points and then choose 1 Exosister monster from your deck and then take 1 other Exosister monster from your deck that's mentioned on that monster and special summon both, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. Also, for the rest of the turn after this effect resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Exosister monsters, which is not actually going to interfere with your Bystial cards, which is super cool. We then play 2 copies of Returnia. Returnia is really good as a 2 in the deck, that if all monsters you control are Exosister monsters, minimum 1, you pay 8 life points and then target 1 card that your opponent controls or in the graveyard and banish it, and then apply one of these effects. Immediately this effect resolves, you Exy summon 1 Exosister monster using monster you control, or if you Exy summon this turn, banish 1 card that your opponent controls, which is just such a good effect. This card does conflict a little bit with your copies of your Bystial monsters, because you can't control a Bystial monster when you activate this card, but it's still a really, really good 2 of. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Exosister Makalis. Makalis is a definite 3 of in the deck. It's just so good in this deck that it cannot be destroyed by battle. The monster special summon from the graveyard. And you only see following effects this card once per turn, that if you control this card that was Exy summoned this turn by using an Exosister monster as material, quick effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls or in the graveyard and banish it. And you can also detach a material from this card to add an Exosister spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is why I'm playing a bunch of the traps at 2 each, because this card can actually search them. We're then playing 2 copies of Caspatel. Caspatel is just really good as a 2 of in the deck. It's just super good in this particular build because it cannot be destroyed by battle. The monster special summon from the graveyard, and you only effect this card once per turn, that if this card is Exy summoned using an Exosister monster as material, neither player can special summon monsters from the graveyards for the rest of the turn, and you can also detach a material from this card to add an Exosister monster from your deck to your hand, which is a crazy good effect. We then play a single copy of Asophiel. Asophiel is just a good 1 of in the deck, but you only need a single copy of Asophiel. But this card is super, super good. We then play a single copy of Gabrine. Gabrine is good, is a good 1 of, just like your copy of Asophiel, but I feel like 1 is totally fine in this deck. We then play 2 copies of Magnifica. Magnifica is a card you're trying to summon all the time in this deck, and Magnifica is actually magnificent. This card has the ability that must be Exy summoned with the above materials, which is 2 rank 4 Exosister monsters. So kind of like how you make your copy of F-Zero. But this card can make a second attack during each battle phase, and once per turn, quick effect, you can detach a material from this card and then banish 1 card that your opponent controls. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effects, you can return 1 Exy monster that you own attached to this card to your extract, and then you can special summon that monster from your extract by using this card you control as a material and transfer all the materials to that monster, which is really cool because you basically tag out your monster for a different Exosister monster you might need for that situation. We then play a single copy of Wallow. Wallow is a good 1 of that because we are playing a bunch of different Bystial monsters, and this card is one of the best cards to make with your Bystial cards. We then play a single copy of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is just really good in this deck to be able to make because you play so many Xyz. We then play a single copy of the Spell Spirit. Spell Spirit is a good 1 of in this deck to be able to use with your copies of your Zora in the main deck, but this card is really, really good because when this card is equipped to a monster, the equipped monster gains 1,000 attack and defense, and during the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field and equip this card that you control to it, and if this card was equipped to an opponent's monster by this effect, take control of that opponent's monster. Also, it cannot activate its effects, but we're just really using it for the 1,000 point game. We're then playing a single copy of the Majestus Calamity. This card is the main card that we're actually summoning out with the Zoroa Majestus main deck monster, and this card is crazy good in this deck. That if this card is synchro summoned, you can equip Majestus monster from your extract to this card, and your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same card type, Fusion, Synchro, Exy, or Link, as a Majestus monster card in your spell and trap card zone. And if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Majestus card that you control and destroy it, and if you do, special summon this card, which is just such a crazy powerful effect to be able to use with this card. We then play a single copy of Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is super easy to make in this deck and just really good in this build. Another budget option for you guys, if you don't have Baron de Fleur, is playing one of the Xyz Majestus monsters that you can actually equip to your copy for Zoroha, just in case you need to. But this card is really good to have as a walking negate. We then play a single copy of Artemis. Artemis is just really good to be able to use with your copy of your Majestus Synchro monster, and this card is just really good also to equip to your copy of Zoroha for its search effect, which is absolutely insane. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Exosister with Bystial in it, you definitely should give it a try, because it's just a really fun deck, and it's extremely powerful in the right hands, which is just really, really cool. I love how Martha basically just goes off with cards like Called by the Grave, or if anything moves, which is just super cool. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.